after further review.
What is going on, everyone? Episode 42 coming at you here live in the AFR studio. We are super excited to have you guys as we're nearing Christmas, all the holidays. Busy time for everyone, but busy time in sports too. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it was an exciting week. Interesting NFL action, but I'm glad we're here to talk about all of it.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's back to starter, so that's kind of fun for the Jets.
Yeah.
It's gonna flop every week.
Is he excited about that? I heard today that he might not be like super pumped.
Who'd you hear that from?
My fiance.
Where'd you hear that from?
I do not know.
I just want the source.
I don't know what the source is.
Okay.
I
Waiting
thought
on the
Bleacher
source of that.
Report put it out, or
Oh, okay.
ESPN.
That's legit.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Seems sketchy though, either way.
The Falcons game, they had to win that game for any resemblance of hope, and they lost, so it's toast. Like Rodgers,
Yeah.
at this point, Rodgers should not come back, no matter what. Just shouldn't. Don't do it.
Hmm.
Get healthy next season. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the AFC in general, a lot of teams, injuries or no injuries, that have been playing above their potential. I mean, we might as well just talk about my Titans over 7.5 wins. It's probably not going to hit at this point. They're 4-8, so they have to finish the season 4-1 to hit
What's their
that.
schedule?
So,
They could do it.
I mean, but the crazy part is that the Texans and the Colts are both 7-5, Jags 8-4, and that's just like, I mean, the Jets 4-8. Obviously, they'd have to win out, and you needed a bunch of help. But who would have thought that the Colts, without their rookie QB, and the Texans, I mean, both 7-5. Actually, the Colts with or without their rookie QB, and the Texans 7-5. I mean, you thought the Broncos and the Chargers might be a little better. Regardless, is a lot more competitive across the board in the AFC than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, and Jaguars, I mean, Lawrence goes down Monday night, and I'm sure every Jaguars fan is just like holding their breath on that one. And then he refuses the cart, which is just wild that he was allowed to refuse the cart. Like, dude, just put him on a cart.
Yeah.
Especially for, I think, what was diagnosed a high ankle sprain or something like that. So that division became real interesting.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars are lucky that Lawrence is still in because they're obviously in a divisional chase. I think obviously among the league leaders now too with their wins, which is surprising. I feel like they've been a quiet team up until this point in the season. I guess that's because you share the division with, teams that are also performing a little bit higher than you expected before the season too. But interesting though.
I mean, so is this the Titans? It looks like here. Ryan's looking at the schedule real quick, and we got the Dolphins next. Not great.
They got the Dolphins, they have the Texans 2 more times, the Seahawks, and the Jags. So right now,
not easy.
Basically all teams with winning records, and all could very well end up in the playoffs. Seahawks, I think, are 6-6, but I feel like
it was the easiest schedule I saw.
Who's that?
The Packers.
Oh, and they just came off. By the way, the Packers winning Sunday night, that really cold game in Lambeau, that knocked me out of the Survivor pool.
Oh,
it did?
Yeah,
that's a good run though.
I saved the Chiefs all season long, and I didn't know who to go with, so I figured, I'll play it safe with the Chiefs. Well, of course, I made the pick, and going into the game, they're like, Mahomes has never played at Lambeau Field, and I'm like, oh, of course, it's like freezing. He's probably not ready for this, and
yeah.
Jordan Love popped off that game.
Yeah, I saw the combined record of the final teams they're playing is like 20-40.
Dang.
So they have and I think they're 6-6 now. So they have a legit shot.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan Love hasn't been awful for them.
No, it
he's
seems
been a
like the
little
last,
surprising.
Last first half of the season maybe a little rocky, but he seems to have figured his turnovers out too.
Yeah, they're starting to definitely mesh together, and they've had guys in and out of the lineup, but yeah, they could definitely be a sneaky team in the NFC to get in the playoffs here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just jumping into the NFC right now, the Cowboys or Eagles will have the first wild card spot. I think everyone knows that. But then 6 through the 9 spot, all 6-6 teams, the Vikings, Packers, Rams, and Seahawks. I mean, I like to lean towards the Rams and the Seahawks to get those 2 spots, but they don't have the tiebreakers right now. I don't know who everyone's scheduled to end up the season, but the Packers could very well end up in the playoffs. year after, literally the first year Rodgers is gone, and they're probably expecting some type of rebuilding year. But I mean, they finish out the season 3-2, and they probably find themselves a road game first week in January.
Yeah. I mean, just for them to make the playoffs, probably a win. And think they would. Rams, hey, the Rams are still in it. Too bad I should have just taken them to make the playoffs. That would have been a good bet. I feel like there would have been some plus money on that.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, they won
Yeah.
3 in a row, and Cooper Cup hasn't even been popping off.
No.
Like they haven't even unleashed him yet. They won. I feel like people are forgetting they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Aaron Donald still looks as good as ever. I mean, Stafford's always injury and throws some picks here and there, but Puka Nakua, everyone's obsessed with him, and he's been a beast. And I feel like they have the roster to make another run.
I don't know why, but I was thinking about if the Rams had instead of the Falcons, if the Rams had drafted Bijan Robinson, I feel like that would complete the offense.
The Rams haven't had that guy since Todd Gurley
Yeah,
in the backfield, to be real.
that's true.
A hammer. Yeah.
Todd Gurley just diminished. That was a fall from grace on that one.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams also have the most bottom third of a roster turnover because they haven't had a lot of draft picks over the last few years. So they're literally just finding people. And I feel like when you're watching a game of the Rams over the last 3 years, you're just like, who are these people?
Yeah, I mean they've done a good job with what they have to be at 6-6 and put themselves in a decent position. So especially after last year was obviously probably a disappointment coming off the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest disappointing years for any team, let alone a team winning a Super Bowl. Like I feel like if we mapped out history, that's one of the worst post Super Bowl teams. That like their goal is to run it back, complete like failure, and then to kind of circle back and put it in gear towards the end of the season. I mean, they're hot, and I don't want to play them. If I was in the playoffs, I would not want to play them. I mean, the year they won the Super Bowl, they beat Brady and the Bucks after their Super Bowl win. So, by the way, just looking at the standings, the Cardinals at 3-10 and the Patriots at 2-10 aren't eliminated yet. So that's something I don't know why, but
Oh, the Jets win the tiebreaker over Tennessee based on strength of schedule, strength of victory.
oh, that's what we should do. The other day, Lindsay was asking me about because we were talking about the Eagles and Cowboys. What happens if the Cowboys win? And like I tried to go into tiebreaker to win the division, and it's like I'll just give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up. It's ridiculously long. It's like 12 things.
Well, while Ryan's bringing that up in other news, Khalil Mack, and I bring him up again, another 2 sacks, up to 15 sacks and leading the NFL in sacks as of this week. So, dude is just raking this year. I don't think he's really being talked about for a potential defensive player of the year, but I feel like he should be up there. He's got 5 forced fumbles too.
Yeah, especially now that he's the league leader. I feel like I
Yeah.
haven't heard his name at all from people.
No, no, 15 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. I mean, I don't know. He's up to 99.5 for his career, so he's close.
He's right there.
He's right there.
And he's got some time.
Yeah, I don't even know what current like defensive player of the year odds are, but
And Sam Howell had 3 sacks against himself.
so
And
where are we at with that?
I'm not sure.
Dude, on the odds checker that I just looked at, Khalil Mack is down at like plus 10,000.
That's crazy. He literally has competitive stats with everyone else.
Is the team being good? Like baseball really doesn't matter that much. Does it matter in football?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, how's like he's with like Jalen Carter and like
Dude, what's crazy is last year I made 2 defensive player of the year bets. I bet a Khalil Mack and Josh Allen for the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, neither of them won, but this year they're both doing amazing. And I was like, of course, I did it last. Like Josh Allen's having a breakout year, and I thought last year he might have one, but I didn't double down on it.
I had a chance. I ran the $1 bet on Michael Thomas win comeback player of the year, and his odds kept going lower and lower, and then he went on the IR, and I was like,
Really?
oh, it's probably done
I might make that a bet as Khalil Mack defensive player of the year midseason bet.
right now.
If it's plus 10,000,
And it says Sam Howell's up to 58 sacks.
Oh my god! And what? Oh my gosh! What's the record, Chase? You gotta look up the 2002
Fuck.
season.
It was like 70 something, right?
I thought it was 71, but you
76.
76.
Yes, it's 76.
was it really
Yes, it's
76?
76. I'm very confident.
All right. Well,
No, Chase, fact check him right
Chase
now.
should fact check me.
fuck,
Khalil Mack's
hold on.
down here.
Also, Bryce Young is at 44,
And what's Sam Howell at?
58.
That is such a jump.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have the 2002 team up?
Hold on.
You honestly could just look up David Carr because we know.
CJ Stroud for offensive rookie of the year or offensive rookie of the year is minus 9,000.
Oh, it was 76 sacks.
76?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold
His
on.
rookie year.
I did it.
Okay, hold on. Ben just dropped a unit on Khalil Mack to win Defensive Player of the Year plus 10,000.
Oh, yeah.
So in theory, Sam Howell has the extra game, but in today's league, you shouldn't be getting sacked as much as you are. He's at 58. He needs 18 to tie. We'll just say he needs 20 to make it easy. So his last 4 games are the Rams, which could get after him, the Jets, which could get after him, the 49ers, and then the Cowboys at the end.
Cowboys depends on if they have something to play for.
Well, they will.
That's true.
They will. Especially because, I mean, they're going to beat Philly this week.
I guess you just have to expect that Washington's still going to play Howell, even though they're probably out of it.
That's true. Also, if he gets hurt by getting sacked.
What's the prediction? Do we think it's going to happen? Do you think this is the year?
I think the 49ers and Cowboys at the end get 10 alone between the two of them.
So, but then you still need another 9.
Yeah.
Between the Rams and the Jets.
You
Sketchy.
You need like one game. Like you need this Rams or Jets game coming up to have like an 8 sack game.
True.
And then
let me see how much.
Oh
my God. He had 9 against Buffalo.
Oh, we're in. It could happen.
He had 9 and he had 5 3 times.
Then you'd think some point you get rid of the ball.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's like Carson Wentz back there. You just like not letting go.
Like to start the year, it was 6, 4, 9, 5, 5, 5, 6, 1, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 3. So it was way worse earlier in the season. He was getting crushed, but they're tightening it up a little bit.
By the way, I don't know who's listening to this, but Sam Howell looks like if Ben Kalinsky and Ben's friend Sam had a kid.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Sam Howell's Jewish.
Hey Siri, is Sam Howell Jewish?
Okay, I found this on the web for is Sam Howell Jewish. Check it out.
He's Christian.
UNC
quarterback Sam Howell gets baptized. Best decision I've ever made.
Okay. All right, let me pivot. I have the time thing up.
There's literally just a quote under it. It just says, "Choosing to follow Christ has been the best decision I've ever made in my life."
Oh, the big miss.
If we ever start naming episodes, we should have named this one Sam Howell's Baptized.
We can name it.
Yeah, we're gonna name it.
For the tie-breaking rules, by the way, there's like 4 different tiebreakers based off 2 clubs, 3 clubs, wildcard division. I'm just gonna keep it simple. To win your division, if you're tied with your team, there are literally 12 things the NFL goes through. And I'm just going to go through it real quick because this is just ridiculous. And I don't know if do you guys want to try to even guess or not? Or do you want me to just go down? I mean, the first couple I feel like you can get.
We can try to guess the first couple, but then you just,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to get a bunch after.
All right. So obviously, number 1, tiebreak rule.
Head to head.
Yeah, head to head. Second.
Road wins?
No, divisional wins.
Oh, divisional.
It goes head-to-head wins, divisional wins. Then I'm just
is like strength of schedule or like the strength of something.
No, I'm just gonna take over because it's ridiculous.
Okay.
So it's head-to-head divisional record, win-loss record in common games. Then number 4 is conference. I thought conference was 3. That's number 4. Then it's your strength of victory in all games. Then it's your strength of schedule in all games. Drop down to number 7, best combined ranking among conference teams in points scored and points allowed in all games. I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
How do you? What?
Then number 8's just as confusing. It says best combined ranking among all teams in points scored and points allowed in all game. Drop down to number 9, best net points in common games. That makes sense. 10, best net points in all games. 11, best net touchdowns in all games. And then number 12 is a coin toss.
Oh my gosh.
Just a good old fashioned coin toss.
If it got to 12 and became a coin toss, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, how many times has it been a coin toss for a tiebreaker?
Probably never. There's no way it's gone that far.
Also, this reminds me when I was looking up college football things, when there was a split title, they had to declare somebody, and that's basically how it went. They were like, oh, well, who beat who? And it just listed out on this page like 3 teams' schedules and was like, Ohio State beat this team, who beat this team, who beat this team, who beat this team. It was like 15 teams listed. I'm like, how do you actually figure this out? Like, how do they write all that out? But that's literally what number 11 was, I think, or 10.
Dang. All right,
You
yeah,
just
I
have
don't
to
even-
write it out. That's
that is
like
ridiculous.
that's like doing like MMA math, but for football.
yeah.
Like, oh, this person's great because they beat Anderson Silva and Michael Bisping. And you're like,
Can you imagine? It was like, all right, what was the strike numbers for this, and
yeah,
what was the middle control of them? It's like,
it's crazy though. But I guess when you write out a team over a season, it would end up looking like that.
yeah. Not to get off track, but do you see DC was on Joe Rogan?
No, I didn't see that.
He was. I just saw a clip from like earlier today. He was talking about John Jones. It was pretty fun.
Was he salty about it, or was he?
No, it wasn't salty. He was talking about like Tyson biting ear, like,
Yeah.
and he basically said at the press conference when they got in a fight, and Cormier, he said he landed on his back. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought crossed through my mind about biting Jones,
ear off. Oh my gosh,
just
that
like
would have been
biting him,
intense.
basically. I'm just like,
Yeah,
so no, it wasn't bad. He was just talking about Jones and his
I got whooped every time.
yeah. Yeah, he was like, he mentioned how he's undefeated before that. I was like, yeah, but you got destroyed.
Yeah, every time it didn't even look real.
He compared himself. I mean, I like Cormier and I think he's good, but he compared himself to Cain Velasquez for a second. I was like, I don't know. And then basically talked about how like he was someone who always liked to move forward, and Jones, like, you couldn't do that against Jones at all. Like, Jones's reach is just ridiculous, and he just like couldn't counter that.
Yeah,
And he's like,
and
they were talking about how big and strong he is now, and like the Cormier house said how strong he was then.
yeah.
So,
He would literally ragdoll Daniel Cormier. He's a dump truck of a person,
yeah,
and John Jones made him look like a Matchbox toy.
I know, that's crazy. Who do you think is the best heavyweight of all time? Like top like 2 or 3. Like I'm okay. So count Jones and lightweight for this conversation,
Okay,
because obviously Jones like is top, like greatest like heavy like greatest mixed martial artist of our time. Jones is probably top 2,
yeah,
top 1 maybe.
he's easily in there. I guess Fedor, but he never fought in the UFC, I don't think.
Okay.
So, but he had a really good run. I don't know. It's crazy because like before John Jones started, like, because I feel like a lot of those people would move back and forth between light heavyweight and heavyweight.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Maybe like Shane Carwin, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Velasquez is still up there too.
Yeah, that's true. Velasquez.
But I feel like everyone always talks about Stipe being the greatest of all time, like the greatest heavyweight of all time. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like everyone, like Dana always is saying that. And I'm just like, oh, is he?
Yeah, had like a good run, but I don't know.
No. It always seems like it's just like no doubt. And it's like, is it though?
Yeah. I feel like you say that about Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna murder this person.
Dude,
Somehow, somewhat.
PFL was talking about Francis Wilder fight or something.
Yeah, I saw that. And he's we talked about how he's a ranked heavyweight now.
Yeah. Francis Wilder, and then they were also talking about something with Diaz, I thought, but I don't fucking know.
That's crazy. But him Wilder would be a crazy fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a logical move, and Wilder, I'm pretty sure, would want to big time fight.
Especially after how Nagano performed, people would actually be like, okay, this is going to be a good fight.
Yeah. Plus for him, if he wanted to rematch Fury again, if he got a win over Ngannou, he could be like, well, I beat him and he beat you, so let's fight.
True.
He beat you and they didn't count it against you.
Well, it could be a legit fight this time, not just like a warm up type exhibition. Because that,
Yeah. You know what you're getting.
Found it.
okay.
And
Back to football for a second here.
yeah, so the farthest tiebreaker ever, I didn't really find it. I found like this Reddit rabbit hole real quick. I went down,
Yeah.
and
That's
from
good.
what I can find, it was the Giants and the Packers in 2006. And the Giants made it 8-8, but it only went down to the fifth one, strength of victory in all games.
When was that comment from? Like, how long ago was that?
8 years ago.
Okay.
So it's pretty accurate.
No, it's
We probably would have heard about it if it was
Yeah.
sooner.
that's probably been about where it's
They
gone.
apparently there
Yeah.
was like in the 99 season, they said if the Cowboys lost the Packers and the Panthers, it was whoever had like the better margin of victory in that last game. But I couldn't figure that out. But I'm just like, why do they have 12 things? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because you would have to think something happened that they had to make it that way. Like, were they just having way too many ties back in the day? And they were like, okay, we'll make one rule to figure this out.
Or maybe they just kept adding every time it happened or something. I feel like a bunch of people just, I don't know. I feel like someone was on something and they're just like, oh, let's see how many we can come up with. Oh, that's never going to tie now.
Yeah,
Like,
because it would have to happen that they have all the, like, that'd be a crazy thing to just come up with that.
yeah, I mean,
It's
maybe
so
they
crazy they had to figure something out that's 12 levels deep just in case.
and it just gets super confusing. I feel like you should just get I feel like, you know what it should be? It should be like PKs in soccer, except like everyone in your starting 22 they have to kick field goals or something.
Yeah. Or your kicker just has to hit like so many over 55 or something.
Yeah, like something fun. I feel like the NBA does the playing tournament now, and don't even get like
Yeah.
in season tournament playing tournament. It pisses me off, but it's better than just having 12 things which ends in a coin toss. Like baseball, don't they do a 1 game playoff at some point? If it gets to a certain spot in baseball, don't they play a playoff game?
Yeah, I'm
Right?
pretty sure it's like an extra game
Yeah, they
to
play.
decide. Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of tiebreakers. I don't know what the MLB does.
That would be kind of cool though if the kickers had to do that, do like penalty kicks, but they would just take turns kicking from like 55 and however many you hit out of like whatever 7.
Yeah. They should just get a fan from each team and they have
Yeah.
to do it.
The head coaches have to do it.
Yeah.
They have to go out and hit one from 55 to win.
Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. But yeah, so I want to touch on the MLB really quick here. Winter meetings haven't started yet, but there's been a bunch of action happening recently. I like to follow a lot of the offseason stuff. The Mets have made some small moves that I like. They haven't had a lot of depth in the past and previous years, so some smaller moves is what they need, and I like what they've done so far. I mean, signing like a bunch of minor league guys and Jose Iglesias to a minor league contract and stuff like that. Joey Wendell's a good utility type guy, but they are going to make plays at what's his name? Yamamoto, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to probably make a play on him, and it seems like Soto's about to get traded to the Yankees, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, and they just traded for Alex Verdugo,
Yeah,
right?
a rare Red Sox Yankees trade.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Soto, I mean, they're going to trade. There's like 4 people. One's like the 5th ranked prospect for the Yankees. Then I think it was Brito, who's a decent, controllable, decent pitcher. Nothing great, but a decent, controllable pitcher. Then King, who's a reliever for the Yankees, has been really solid for 3 years in a row now. But what they gave up for Soto, they're not getting anything close to back. And I don't know. I mean, it's a 1-year rental, which so you don't expect them to, but it's a big L for the Padres.
Yeah, if they have to get rid of him, and if they don't re-sign Josh Tate or whatever they gave away from him, I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was, but
A lot.
they literally ruined their farm system to let both of those guys go.
Yeah. I mean, you think about just the top two guys in the Nationals deal, literally CJ Abrams and James Wood, who are two. I mean, Abrams is going to be really good, and Wood is looking like he's going to be great too. So Soto, I mean, he's going to probably not even re-sign with the Yankees. He's probably going to try to see what he can get in free agency. He's going to be 26 in free agency. He can easily get like a Harper, like 10, 12-year deal.
Yeah, especially if he plays out 1 year at the Yankees, puts up like 50 home runs or something like that.
Oh, yeah, he might hit a lot more this year with that short porch.
Yeah. And
Wait, is it easy to hit home runs in right field in Yankee Stadium?
yeah, it's shorter.
It's super short.
That's
Yeah.
why Curtis
That wasn't-
Granderson had like
Yeah.
35 or 40.
Brett Gardner, yeah, Brett Gardner had a year or two where he went off. Yeah.
I thought that was in
Yeah.
Boston.
No.
Well, Boston kind of has uh like it curves inward. So I feel like a lot of people like lefties can sneak some balls in, but the Yankees porch is just really close.
Yeah.
So they
just
call them
really
the
short.
Bronx Bombers, but it's like so easy to hit home runs there.
Yeah. Like
So
it's
the shortest corner is technically Fenway Park.
Okay, the
But,
pesky
like-
pole, right? That's what they call it because
yeah.
Yeah, but like it goes out farther, whereas Yankee Stadium stays in far like longer.
yeah.
Basically.
Let's see. Would the MLB
Yeah.
ever have like a standard stadium size?
No.
No, I don't think so. But they're all kind of trending in the same direction. Like I was actually just reading about this. There's this one company that basically got all the deals for the major league stadiums and made them all gigantic ice box type.
Hmm.
Like there's nothing like you think about the older ones, like we're talking about Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley, like they all have these weird designs to them. And I feel like that's kind of cool that's almost gone now. Like Citizens Bank has that, it's a little quirk design, but you definitely don't see it more with like I don't know. I wish the Astros would bring the bump in center field
know.
back.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite. I was waiting to bring that up. The bump. I just remember
Yeah.
so many guys
Yeah.
just eating it going up there.
Yeah. Dodger Stadium's also still really quirky, which is cool.
Yeah. Like these older ones just have a little
It's gonna play an advantage.
layer.
I know.
Players at those ones, like in Citizens Bank Park, all the time you see guys misread the center field, like that
Yeah.
giant slant.
And you can
And
get
then
a inside the park home run.
Yeah,
It's just
Dodger-
cool. It's like a little league element to the
Yeah.
game that I feel like would I don't know if every stadium had one thing that was like unique to
Yep.
them. Yeah.
Dodgers one is interesting because you go as a fan, it's not really I don't think different for the players, but as a fan, you come no matter what you come in and you are at the top of the stadium and have to go down.
yeah, that's cool.
Well, so it's like it's different. But like yeah, like things like you said, Chase, like
Like
I mean, even
especially in the field of play, it would just be cool to have something, you know.
I saw there's a Japan stadium that is built pretty recently. They have like a giant shopping mall attached to the stadium.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
all
so wild.
it's all like baseball stuff related in the mall. It's kind of cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
Chase, these new stadiums being built, you think they'll all probably be like hitter friendly park? I feel like just the MLB
Yeah.
way.
Like they're just all I don't know, like the way the Ranger Stadium looked, the way the Marlin stadiums looked, like all the newer ones in the last 10 years, they're all kind of similar in a way.
Well, the Marlins was huge, and they have their short. They had a
So
short,
big.
right?
Yeah, they had to bring it back in a little bit.
Mets brought theirs in too.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
The original, I think they brought it in twice, two separate times. The original dimensions of City Field were really
Dang.
out there, and then they brought them in more, and then I think they brought
Yeah.
them a second time. So, but we
Yeah.
have to talk about also too. We haven't talked about Otani.
Oh yeah, this is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Newest
Yeah.
reports indicate that he's expected to sign somewhere by Sunday. So by the time we record our next podcast, he's most likely going to be with a team. A lot of secrecy around it, not much going on. What are you guys thinking? Where do you think he's going?
All right, two things real quick. Number one, if he re-signs with the Angels, I'm forever gonna hate Otani. Forever, the rest of my life, I will hate him. Second, and I don't know if this is an actual report, but if I don't know if you guys saw it too, but the Blue Jays said that they were interested and they would trade Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette if they got Otani. And I was like, if he signs with the Blue Jays, he's basically re-signing with the Angels. He's joining the most competitive division in baseball. So what does he think he's going to do? And they're going to trade their two best young players. So if both of those things play out, I will forever hate Shohei Otani.
I haven't been following MLB all season, and I literally was just gonna do a random guess of the Blue Jays, and I was thinking in my head, so
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's been really quiet though, and they said Otani has been like he's basically wanted it to be very like on the down low, and so teams are like scared to like spill anything because they don't want it to ruin their chances. Basically, the only
Yeah,
one that said anything this whole time is Dave Roberts for the Dodgers, but everyone already knew the Dodgers were interested.
right. Yeah, and I don't know if the whole Blue Jays thing is for real either, but I don't like if the Angels are still in it, I'm annoyed, and if the Blue Jays somehow got in it, I would also be annoyed. Like I don't want to see him obviously go to like the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox, like the big timing teams, but I guess
Yeah.
I don't really know where I want him to go. I feel like it'd be cool if he went to like the Orioles or somebody, like somebody just
Oh, they're
you
not
never expected. Yeah, like, but I feel like
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I
I
just
agree.
I just shat on another team in the division, but
Yo, if he goes to the A's,
yeah, but it's not like the Orioles would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna trade three prospects now because of we
yeah.
got Otani. I mean, maybe the Orioles might do that. I'm giving them a
My
little too much.
my prediction of where he's gonna go is the Giants.
The Giants, I could see
That's
that.
that's my prediction. That's where I think he's going.
I could see the Mariners just hooking him up with Ichiro for like 10 days straight. Just being like, yeah, one night in Seattle, then they just hold him hostage there for 10 days until he signs with them. Just because they have like a strong lineage of like, you know,
Yeah.
like Japanese players. And I feel like they're like, Shohei, you have to do this.
It'll be interesting. I also saw they said for Yamamoto there was like 7 teams that emerged as like the top guys for the bidding for Yamamoto, and the Mets and Yankees, which I knew, but then the Blue Jays are in that too.
No, no, no.
And then the Dodgers Giants, which I'm not surprised either. And then there was like 2 mystery teams, but I mean the Mets have been vocal about being interested. I mean their rotation right now is literally Severino, Quintana, and Senga. And Senga
Yeah.
last year for 75 million. I mean he's off to a great start on that contract. And
Yeah.
Steve Cohen reportedly flew out to Japan before Yamamoto came to the US to like talk with him there to get like a head start.
God, it's such a baller move.
So
Damn it.
I don't know.
Ah. Yeah, I
But
mean, I would definitely consider the Giants, though. Like you said, they've
Yeah.
been obviously showing that they're willing to spend a lot of money. So
Yeah, I mean
I
he's
wouldn't be surprised
projected.
if they end up with one of these
He's
people.
projected to have like I think the projection of his contract is like 275 million for him.
That's crazy. And he's like 3-time MVP, right?
Yeah, Cy Young, like, well, not Cy Young, but from what their top pitcher, if you get
Yeah.
a 1.21 ERA there last year, and he's 25, so that's the big deal. It's like you don't normally get these pitchers like these young studs coming over that young, so that's like the big draw with him, obviously.
Definitely exciting, though, wherever these guys end up actually going. So if it
Yeah.
happens in the next week, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I just want to discuss it. And I think next week we'll have even more to talk about. There wasn't a lot more. I mean, Craig Kimbrell signing with the Orioles is, I guess,
Yeah.
something.
I laughed at that.
You guys probably are fine with it.
I feel bad for the Orioles. I think it's a horrible move for them, but
Yeah, I mean, they needed someone with Batista at all next year, but that's not probably who you want to have to rely on all year either. So
no. And I saw Kellenic is now an Atlanta Brave.
that was a ridiculous trade.
So yeah.
I'm so pissed. He's gonna haunt the Mets, and I know he is. That's just what happens.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, classic former Mets prospect ends up back in the division with somebody.
And he's gonna haunt them now. He's still only 24.
Chase, is it true that Bryce Harper was low key looking into an extension?
I saw something pop up, but I don't know how true it was. I didn't get to
Okay.
investigate it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say he has 8 years left on his deal, and he's gonna be 38 when it's over. I was like, bro, I'd be a little salty if that's what he's looking for.
I mean, I could see he's trying to do it to open up money, maybe, but
I'm also,
I don't know if that happens
So
in
that's a long
baseball.
time left on your contract.
Yeah.
this is one of my biggest number one pet peeve is when players sign a contract and then they want out.
Yeah.
But
James Harden.
yes. Number two is this extension thing. I feel like every single player, prime, not prime, no matter what the situation is, if you sign a 3-year deal, it's really a 2-year deal. And it's like, oh, are we going to extend them or trade them or do something? Like, if
Yeah.
it's a 5-year deal, you get through 4 years. It's like, oh, should we like, I don't understand why, because I know it's different nowadays, whereas teams, all the players used to be restricted free agents and you would get your pot. So you sign a guy for 5 years and then I guess you can choose to re-sign him or let him play the open market. Is the reason for that trend just teams are always afraid of losing someone? But if let's say you sign a guy for 5 years and after year 4 you don't extend him because he has a 5-year deal, then I feel like he's going to be all salty and be like, oh, well, I want out then or something like that. Like, I feel like no one just plays their contract and then moves on.
Teams also want to get something for them, though, if they know they're not going to re-sign the guy. I'm trying to think, like the Seattle with the Kellenic trade, they traded away Evan White, he's one of the guys that he's one of those prospects that got signed to those, like, I don't know
Bigger
what the
deals.
contract was, but it was
Yeah.
like one of those like 6-year, like $50 million contracts. But he's been terrible in the MLB. I don't think he's even been in the MLB since like 2021.
Dang.
So that they're just like shedding. That's one of those like contract deals that didn't work out. Like King, you guys did that with King Reed, right? Or no?
Yeah. Well, he declined his option, but he
Okay.
he
But I
like
mean, it was yours
yeah.
wasn't that expensive. It wasn't like a crazy expensive.
It was like 50 something million, I think, though.
But that's what like the Evan
Yeah.
was, and on the team side at least, I think they're just trying to get something. But player, yeah, I don't know.
But it was
Wow.
Ben was just saying about how like the NBA is sometimes a little player favorite, and that's why there's more issues with contracts and stuff like that than the MLB. And it's just those types of situations become harder as fans. And I told Ben the MLB is a little, I mean, MLB, NHL, even the NFL, I feel like there's a lot of players that can stay with the teams. NBA, there's a lot of jumping, cap going up like every year, a lot of 1 to 2 year deals. I get it. But it is just really hard as a fan. And I told Ben, if you were like, even like when you're a bad team in any pro sport, there's more turnover. I am still a believer that if those group of guys just stay together, especially in a sport like basketball or football, I know baseball's a little more individualized, but I think basketball, you had a bad team and you kept all those guys together, like they would turn into something. And Ben made a good point. He said the Magic this year, and they're 14-6 right now in third place in the conference. And it's just been a group of guys, bad players that have been together now 3-4 years. Some of them are younger, but
Yeah, Ben Caro's only been there too, but it's kind of the same group as last year.
yeah, I
and the
don't
year
think they
before.
made many moves at the deadline or
No, they're just developing their guys for the most part. I mean, you have other teams, obviously, like the Pistons, who are at the other end of the spectrum.
but there's turnover
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There's so much turnover
That's
there.
true. You're adding Kevin Knox in there, and
Yeah, it's been cool. The Magic have like just let them grow. Like they're not putting, I mean, they obviously have pressure, but it's not that they're like keep changing the head coach every year or something like that.
yeah.
Like they're letting it mesh. And I don't know. I feel like that's how Golden State did it and like how
Yeah.
dominant they were. Like they sucked and then all of a sudden they got a bunch of players together and then they all just peaked at the same time.
Yeah, it gets hard because then you get all these bad guys playing together and then you start to get good and then it's easy to deal. Like, I feel like the Spurs have been doing that. Like, they had Derek White and who's the dude that went to
Keldon Johnson?
Atlanta? No, the dude that went to Atlanta.
DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte Murray. Like, both of them, they were like a two-headed guard down there, started playing a little better, and then they just dealt them both. And I'm like, okay, I mean, you have Wemby now, but they're 3-16 and they lost 14 straight. So
Yeah.
I mean, Pop still has like he's like top 5 winningest coach still percentage wise, and he's
Yeah.
had like 3 to 5 straight garbage years, and he's still up there.
Yeah. No, not to bring back to the Magic, but so their starting lineup on most nights is ridiculous. You have Banchero, who's 21.
Dang.
You have Franz Wagner, who's 22. Gigi Batazzi, who's 24, oldest one. You have Suggs, who's 21, and then Black is 19.
Oh my god!
And that's their starting rotation.
Who is this black guy?
Anthony Black. He went
Anthony
to
Black.
Arkansas.
Just like the fact that that's their lineup. I mean, they on the bench, like their old guys. They got Joe Ingles and Gary Harris off the bench, but
And Gary Harris has been there. He got dealt from the Nuggets like 3 or 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
even like your veteran who you plug in and out every year, it's been Gary Harris, and he's been trucking down there for like at least
well, and
3
Cole
years.
Anthony, this is his 4th year there, and he's been. I mean, he's had good years. You know, he's been reliable. He's been fine on that like bench role, getting like 25 minutes a game. Like he's been good for them in that role. So
Yeah, they're good. They're a good young team. I'm pretty sure I had them making the playoffs, I think, in my bracket.
so.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was just going to complain because the Sixers last played Friday night, and they're not playing till tonight, Wednesday night, because of this dumb in-season tournament. And the game Friday night, they were showing their upcoming schedule, and there was like a couple games highlighted, and it's like newly added games. I'm like, there's gonna be no fans there. You can't put
Yeah.
a random game on like a Wednesday night in a week's notice. This in-season tournament, the amount of money some of these teams that don't keep going are gonna lose because of stadium revenue. I'm just like, are the owners gonna be okay with this continuing to go? And
So
the big
glad the Knicks lost.
yeah, I'm so glad the Sixers didn't make it. The biggest story right now in the NBA, like I get it, it's not a popular time of the year, but the biggest story right now is how the Lakers have to change their in-season tournament jerseys because they're too much blending in with the dumb court. Like that's the biggest story right now. Have you guys heard anything else? I haven't.
No.
I haven't
You
even.
haven't
Go to
either.
ESPN, that's like on the main page. I'm like, this is so dumb.
That's ESPN.
I don't get it. It'd be cooler if there was something more. Like, in soccer, what do the teams get when playing all these tournaments and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
I think it's just hardware.
Like, you just get a trophy. But that's like their season is almost made up of like those tournaments in a way.
Some things is bidding, like the basketball at the end of the year when they do the conference tournaments, those like you can get a bid into March Madness.
Yeah.
But, like this is strictly just money based for players, like, and they already all have a ton. I get it. The
Yeah.
guy on the bench might want it, but he's not contributing at all to his team getting it anyway.
Yeah, true. Like you could be exempt from like the play-in tournament. Like if you win this, then it's like you automatically lock in like whatever the lowest seed is.
Yeah.
Like that would be kind of
So if whoever loses the NBA tournament, whoever like has like the loser of the loser gets relegated to the G League.
I always say I'm in for that, but it would really stink one year. Like, I don't know. When I jumped into the Premier League chase, I don't really follow soccer that much, but I would say I'm more into probably the English Premier League than the MLS. And I got into it
remember
the one
that.
year, and I literally was like, oh, okay, I'll choose Sheffield United. And then they got relegated. And then they almost got relegated again, like after that. I was like, what the heck? I don't even
I
know.
remember
They were
you
just
did
free falling out of the
I was like trying to
divisions.
find like scores and like league stats
Oh,
online.
no.
It was like so hard.
I remember that. You get up at like Saturday morning. You were
Yeah.
trying to like follow the game.
Like trying to follow the game, and like we got relegated twice, and then they were playing Sheffield Wednesday. I never even heard of them.
What the heck? That is crazy how you can just ascend different levels and become like
Yeah.
a top league soccer club.
That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah, I never watched that. The team that
Oh, Leicester.
no,
Oh.
the team that
Oh, Wrexham.
yeah, Wrexham. I never watched that documentary or whatever. That
Yeah.
I forget.
It's Ryan Reynolds bought the
Yeah,
team.
yeah, he bought the
and
team.
Rob McElhenney.
They put a
From
bunch.
It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, right? Last thing for the NBA. The Sixers I think they're 12-7 now. They're in the middle of the pack. They started off hot. Embiid's missed a couple of games. They lost last Wednesday to the Pelicans, and there was a big deal about Zion that game. because he broke a Pelicans record for most field goals made without missing one, and it was 11 for 11. And they were like hyping it up. And then the next day there was a stat correction and he missed a field goal and he's 11 for 12. And so it didn't even count.
That's funny.
I don't even know what happened. It was like,
That's pretty funny.
there was like all this stuff. They're like 11 for 11. Like no Pelican has ever made that many field goals without missing one. And then the next day, I went into the box score and it said 11 for 12.
What was it, like a tip or something?
I
that
don't
they, like,
know.
roll?
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
what? How does that happen?
That's funny. Dude, he's good when he's on the court. Just gotta stay on the court.
This Sunday, Cowboys will beat the Eagles. It's not a pick. I'm not dropping money on it, but I don't know. Apparently, according to some sources, Dak's leading the MVP poll right now, which I told because Lindsay was like kind of hype about it. And then I was like, oh, I heard Myles Garrett had a shot and defensive guy hasn't won it in like years. And she's like, oh, of course, when Dak's leading, they're going to choose someone on defense. And I was but I was like, listen, I was like, Bryce Harper won one in Philly. Joel Embiid won one for the 76ers. I'm like, it's hype in the moment, but then you lose in the playoffs. I'm like, and Dak definitely cares way more about a championship.
Yeah, I'd rather be
think-
Super Bowl MVP than MVP.
I don't think I've ever seen any of my teams get an MVP.
How old were you? Pat Ewing won one, right? How old were you? Just, I know what you mean. I actually don't think. Oh no, technically Allen Iverson, I guess, but
Did Ryan Howard ever win one?
Jimmy Rollins in 2006. Jimmy Rollins was MVP, I think. I don't know if Ryan Howard won one.
Okay.
Technically, right,
I'm
Chase?
not
We have AI. Technically, in 01.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into the 90s because there's no way I'm counting that. There's a stretch on the AI in 01 because we were like 5 and 6. But then Jimmy Rollins, and then we had Bryce Harper and
Joel.
How was MVP in 2006?
He was?
Yeah.
So it wasn't Rollins? Can you look up Rollins? Did they both win? I didn't know
Rollins
how.
also won MVP. Yeah, 07.
Oh my
back.
Well, they went back to back MVP.
That's ridiculous.
Was Ryan Howard also Rookie of the Year? Wait, he was Rookie of the Year and MVP.
No, Rookie of the Year, and then the next year he won.
Okay. Because I was like, wait, did that happen in the same year?
I mean, the dude hit 313 with 58 homers and 149 ribbies.
My God, I would take that in a second right now.
Like that's a good.
And it paid off because you got Ryan Howard's MVP, Jimmy Rollins' MVP, and they won a World Series. I know Ben always says they should have won more, and he's right.
Yeah,
But we had 2 MVPs and a World Series.
The crazy thing is that he was at 5.2 WAR that year, and second place Pujols had an 8.5 WAR.
What? What did Pujols do that year?
I mean, it's probably defense too, I'm assuming.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Pujols hit 330 with 41 homers and 117 ribbies. He also had 16 stolen bases, and he walked 97 times, only struck out 60. Whereas Howard struck out like 180 times still. But
Oh my God. So Albert Pujols might have got robbed on an MVP that year.
yeah, I was just looking at Pujols on the side, like his awards. Literally, fourth in MVP, second in MVP, second in MVP, third in MVP, first, second, ninth, first, second, fifth.
That's so
To
crazy.
start his career. That's to start his career.
I don't know. I think I might have been underrating Pujols a little bit.
Well, he got hosed, right?
I think the recency bias is the worst part of that, though.
Didn't that run end with the hand injury at first? Like, didn't that whole that crazy run he had with the Cardinals, didn't that all end when he got hurt, right? Someone ran into his hand and messed him up, and then after that, he went to the
I mean, even
Angels.
his final year in the Cardinals, he had 299 with 37 homers and 99 RBIs in his final year with them.
He won the home run derby.
He was still fifth in the MVP. Even his first year with the Angels, he had 285, 30 home runs, 105 ribbies. Like, he still was fine. It just maybe it was time after that he got injured. But no, I think we talked about a lot of good stuff here. lot to go with MLB, NBA, and I think we're gonna wrap it up on this one. But we'll get the Immaculate Grid after this. Get that posted
Yeah.
when we go 9 for 9 and all four of them. So
Yeah, and we've all been super busy, obviously, but we're trying to get more organized, more consistency, more content, and we're gonna try to gear up big for year 2 coming up in a month. Crazy that we haven't been doing this a full year. I think we started early 2023, but I don't know, boys. Let's hit hard in 2024. A lot more live content.
We're gonna get some merch out there for
Some
people
merch
if they
going.
want it.
I mean, to be honest, it's one of those things where I was like, it's easy to say we'd be still trucking, but I actually don't know. I don't know if I thought we'd get this far. I know it's 42, but
yeah, no, we're kicking in strong, and we're gonna keep grinding these out for sure.
Yeah, weekly content.
Yeah, weekly content, and yeah, it's been busy for us. It's a busy time of year, but we're gonna keep grinding and make it as accessible for you guys as possible. And we want to know what you guys want to hear too.
Yeah. Ways you think we can improve, or different content,
Yeah.
or just anything in general. Let us know.
Yeah, and if you usually listen on Spotify, our podcast from last week is only on YouTube, but this one will be on Spotify. So if you made it this far and you want to listen to last week's, it's on YouTube. We will see you guys next week. Appreciate all the support, all the love. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.